Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Coffee with Tech Lee and my second video. My goal is to share thoughts and experience I accumulated during my 16 years in technical leadership roles. Hope you find it useful and entertaining. Today I want to tell you about introverts and extroverts at our workplace. In the early 1900s, the great psychiatrist Carl Jung came up with a definition for introversion and extroversion. The easiest way to tell is how they get their energy. Introverts need quiet and a long time to recharge, whereas extroverts do so by interacting with others. There's also a term called ambivert, which is people that are right in the middle. In my humble opinion, this really isn't a category. I understand people are complicated and have a lot of characteristics, but in the end, everybody leans left or right in an introvert-extrovert spectrums. First, a little bit about me. I am, you guessed it, an introvert. Throughout my career, I've had to speak in front of audiences, conduct seminars, and even crack jokes in meetings. Most importantly, I learned how I need to act to gain respect from both the introverts and the extroverts. Those are skills I had to acquire in order for my career to move forward. Deep inside, I knew I'm an introvert. In this video, I want to share my experiences as an introvert, what it's like working with extroverts, and how I learned to cope with it. So let's get started. First, on the extroverts. These are their characteristics. They will speak their first ideas even if it's still immature, and bounce ideas around for inputs. They like to solve problems with group meetings. Getting in front of groups helps them think and makes them more comfortable. And they get energy from group social interactions and meeting strangers. Extroverts are more willing to take risks early, and at times that may make corporations more successful. They project the image of energetic, charismatic, and someone that's easy and fun to work with. They also tend to evaluate it as having leadership qualities. And it should come as no surprise that most corporate leaders and politicians are extroverts, as well as members of the media like actors, reporters, and singers. The introverts, on the other hand, approach work and social interactions a little differently. When confronted with a problem, introverts like to take time to think it over, do a lot of research before raising their opinions. With introverts, solutions and ideas are well thought out and takes time. Introvert needs time alone to solve problems, preferably a quiet environment that they can relax in. Introverts don't enjoy large group settings. They prefer to be around a small group of people they know well and are comfortable with. They can also get energy and inspiration through one-on-one conversations. When dealing with risk, introverts will only take calculated risks after carefully analyzing their solutions and consequences. And they project the image of being shy, passive, hesitant, but creative. Introverts in an organization are perceived as calm, knowledgeable, and trustworthy. They're great at identifying risks and finding solutions to problems, and are essential to any corporations. Because of some of these qualities, introverts tend to be excellent engineers, accountants, scientists, and physicians. Author and TED Talk speaker Susan Cain has a book called Quiet, the Book of Introvert in a World That Can't Stop Talking. In her book, she mentioned the percentage of people that are introverts versus extroverts. Did you know that about 40% of people are introverts versus 60% introverts? And this number goes up to a staggering 95% introverts and 5% extroverts ratio in the field of technology. Wow! The position of power and decision making are usually held by extroverts. Did you know 96% of leadership positions are filled by individuals with extroverted qualities? Because of this, extroverts get to create rules and environments that are comfortable and productive for them. but are not suitable for the introverts. Don't believe me? Let me know if what I'm about to say sounds familiar. Extroverts encourage and demand face-to-face group meetings to exchange ideas and solve problems. Have you ever noticed extroverts attend a lot more meetings than introverts? That's because they enjoy and thrive on group interactions. Extroverts are also better at staying focused and engaged during long meetings. The introverts, on the other hand, are quickly overstimulated and stressed out in these meetings. They need time and space to think and solve problems, so this is counterproductive to their natural tendencies. Another transformation that happened during the last decade is open office. Corporations have gone from cubicles to open offices, where there are no longer any walls or private workspace. This is great for communication and collaboration, they say. But this also reduces privacy and greatly increases interruptions and distractions. And this is what the introverts are afraid of. The subject of working from home. The event of COVID-19 forced many of us to start working from home. But with vaccination now widely available, company leaders now want everybody to go back to the office. But have you wondered why productivity for engineers has gone up since we started working from home? That's because when working from home, introverts get to have that naturally relaxed setting which they need to solve problems. Being home also makes it easier for them to avoid distractions. You can prevent distractions with a few mouse clicks, or just ignore that instant message or email until you're ready to address it. Introverts also feel much more ease when having to attend meetings virtually. Not having to interact in person minimizes the sensory overload and the pressure from meetings, so it becomes easier to communicate and express their opinions. Here are a few tips I learned throughout my career as an introvert. Hopefully, you'll find them useful. Tip number 1, prepare everything. With preparation, you can hide your natural deficiencies. Prepare the topics you want to talk about in your meetings and seminars. Do your research, and plan what you're going to say and how you're going to say them. Think about questions you might get in meetings and prepare how you're going to answer them. And most importantly, prepare the joke that you want to tell for the icebreaker. With preparations, introverts can also be awesome in group events. Eventually, some of these will even become your permanent skills in your communication toolbox. Second tip is, ask for time and space when needed. For introverts, there's nothing worse than being put on the spot to answer a question and you don't have the answers to. Oh, and all the spotlights are shining on you. So, what do? Instead of trying to think and answer on the fly, the right thing to do is just communicate the little that you know to be true and ask for some time alone to figure this out. So just say, hey, here is what I know, and I need some time to figure this one out. That may or may not be what your manager wants to hear, but it's the most effective way to handle this. What about when you're working with other introverts? What are things you should watch out for? First, you should observe their natural tendencies. Remember, not all introverts are alike. Take the time to get to know them. What are they comfortable with? What do they prefer? And accommodate those tendencies whenever possible. Second, don't interrupt introverts in the middle of a task or thought, unless it's necessary. Introverted employees need uninterrupted focused time to work, so they may become uncomfortable or upset if they're forced to stop. Have patience and let them take the time to think over an issue or response. At last, to all the introverts out there, introverts can be great leaders. We tend to think a leader needs to be a great inspirational extrovert, but that does not have to be the case. Extroverted leaders tend to divert their attention to a wide range of individuals and issues, so there are limitations to how much they can focus on each of them. Whereas introverted leaders can be more tuned in to individual stakeholders and their concerns. They will take the time to listen to people, build strong connections, and try to have a deeper understanding of their issues. And unlike extrovert leaders, introverts will take the time to make key decisions, processing ideas and risks carefully. This can avoid big disasters. So, do any of these experiences apply to you? Do you have any tips on how to be successful as an introvert? Feel free to leave a comment below. Now it's time for me to drink that coffee. Bye, guys.